welcome to another episode of the Nashville Scoop. I'm Chris McKenna.
I'm Craig Candage.
And this week we did Nashville Sounds. So we did a ballpark. We both went there on separate occasions, so this wasn't like an event where, you know, we took a night out together and went. So we definitely had some different experiences, I'd say.
Absolutely.
So, but I mean, again, really quick, I guess, with our background, we both come from minor league baseball backgrounds. So this is definitely something we both know a lot about, ballparks.
We've been to a lot of different ballparks.
Yeah. So really quick on the Nashville Sounds. They are a AAA affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers, and they play in First Horizon Park. And you want to get into a little bit about the area?
Yeah, sure. So the stadium, First Horizon Park, is located in Germantown. So Germantown is just north of, or it's north Nashville essentially. This in particular area has really seen a lot of growth in the last few years as far as we call them tall skinnies, but essentially what they're doing is they're coming down, knocking down these older houses and putting two houses on one lot, and we call them tall skinnies because they're very, very modern and they're tall and skinny. Right. So
there you go.
Fits the name, you know.
Makes sense.
This in particular area right now is a huge hot spot as far as restaurants, just things to do.
Right.
There's really good brunch spots like Geist, seafood restaurants like the Optimist, the Nashville Farmers Market on Rosa Parks is almost right next door to this stadium, and it's a really, really good farmers market.
Nice.
Just a lot to do around this area in general. It's a really high demand area.
Right.
So they chose a good area for the stadium.
Yeah, for sure. So I took my family there. We only went once. It was a day game, so we were there in the afternoon. I'm not sure what time you went.
We did a night game, and it was school was still in session, and so it wasn't like a packed crowd, and it was expected that it was going to be a little bit better.
Right.
Me not having children, I kind of go for those
right.
non-busy crowds.
That's smart.
Yeah.
The one thing that I liked, and we kind of always start things off like this, is has to do with parking. So they have a parking garage right outside the stadium. I think they have a couple, and it's perfect. It's super easy.
It's cheap. It's easy. And even the in and out, I mean, the directionals to bring you into the garage, the in and out of the garage, the price, everything, super cheap.
Yeah.
Super easy.
I mean, and so when we went, we got there a little bit early. I wanted to bring the kids around the stadium and just kind of check it out. I had never been there before. I mean, I've seen tons and tons of stadiums, but I've only brought the kids, I think, to maybe 2 or 3 ballparks at this point. Heard that it was kid friendly, so wanted to get there early. We waited like probably about 10 minutes before they opened up the park. So there was a really long line just waiting to get into the park.
It was the same when I was there too. A lot of people waiting.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't a big deal, even though it was like a 10-minute wait. It was expected, you know, because they hadn't opened yet. So we went in, and the first thing that you kind of walk into is out in right field. They've got like a whole like giant kids area. It was really cool. Not only kids, but I mean, it's got like cornhole. They got table tennis.
They got a whole mini golf course.
A mini golf course. It was a place.
That's
to
where
shoot.
there's like speed pitches too, and all that, the typical stuff you see.
Yep, and they had there's some basketball hoops for the kids to shoot on, things like that. And then you, as you walk past that whole area, then you get into, the concourse. You start heading into like the more seating areas and things like that.
It's an open concourse. Yeah. In stadiums, they either have open or closed concourses. So closed, you can't see the game from it. It's usually understands. Open concourse, you can see the game from the concourse.
Yeah, it's a great setup. It
Yeah.
really is. So, I mean, and I've been to a couple of AAA stadiums that are they're terrible, like whether they're closed off or just old. Like this had none of that, it was nice.
Age is usually a big factor with minor league stadiums, and a lot of them just aren't up with the times anymore.
Right. So this definitely isn't one of those. I loved it, and the kids loved it, so that was good. what kind of things did you do while you were there? Did you guys just go straight to the seats? Did you go to like a bar area? What were your seats? Where were your seats?
My parents were in town, and I took my dad, who also worked in pro baseball as a retirement job. And then we met my friend Brady, who Brady actually played minor league baseball.
Okay.
He was a catcher and good dude. None of us had ever been, and we said, hey, let's check out the stadium, go to a game. We actually ended up with $20 a piece, and I know you're going to get into ticket prices in a little bit. So $20 a piece, and we were able to get front row, third base side. We kind of got in, and like I do in every new stadium, I take the walk, the lap, and check out everything that they have. And
absolutely,
really, where do I want to eat?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the main thing.
Or where do I want to drink?
Yeah. Either way.
Exactly.
So nice. Yeah. We when we went, I'm trying to think. We were right behind home plate, but we sat back a little bit, and it was kind of purposely because it was a day game, and it was at the beginning of summer, so we knew it was going to be hot.
Yeah.
At least wanted some shade, so we sat back a little bit. But I mean, the seats were amazing. You know, it's great seats, and so like to get into like the whole ticket price thing, you know, just like top and bottom, you could get into a game day of the game for like $10, like sort of general admission type thing, and then I think you can do club seats are $42 a piece.
That's not bad
for club seating. You know, I mean that's great. And they have another option too. I mean, there's a bunch in between as well. You know, depending where you want to sit and things like that. In regards to the field, you know, obviously
I think they have the $10 seat. I think is like the grass out in the outfield, right? Exactly. And then it ranges up to the club seating.
Yep. And then the other option too is I think it's out in right field where you can get it. They have the high top tables. So it's what was it, $150 I think, and you get a four top. Right. So 4 of you sit at a high top, and you actually get waitress service and things like that as well. So, I mean, even with that, that's a great deal too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So we sat behind home plate, and the one thing that I thought was kind of cool, again, we had the kids with us. It was mascot day, so they had not only the mascot for the Sounds, but they had like the Titans mascot was there, the Predators mascot was there, and it's super accessible. They had them right up in the concourse behind us. The kids got to take pictures with them and things like that. But yeah, it was, and then I think it was a Sunday where the kids get to run the bases either before or after. I think it's after the game. I didn't tell my kids about that because we weren't staying for the whole 9 innings. Yeah. It's one thing you learn when it comes to baseball. You don't stay the whole game with the kids. I mean, you could be there for 5 hours. So
typically, just getting out of the parking lot is hell on wheels anyway. Yeah. So that's usually why I leave early.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So so we didn't let them know about that, but you know, they'll get on the field one of these days. So. But yeah, so they got to meet the mascot and do that. But yeah, it's super kid friendly. You know, and obviously, again, my perspective on everything. You've got a bit of a different perspective.
He was hanging out over at the kids' places. I was sitting at the full bar in right field, where you can get like slush drinks that are Jack and Coke mix, or just a full bar good. And. You know, you can go up there and get your beer, your mixed drink, whatever you want, bring it back. Prices are pretty decent when I was there because it was the before the huge crowd is there sales. Right. So it was like $2 beers.
Nice.
Those mixed drinks were the same. I know prices are a little different for a full house.
Right. So yeah, they did that great selection for like drinks and like plenty of spots to go and grab a drink, like throughout like beers and things like that throughout the concourse. So like they were never, and they were full. Like it was a packed stadium that day. And, they were like, even though there was a packed stadium, you never had to wait for anything. You didn't have to wait for food. You didn't have to wait for drinks, anything like that. So that was really nice too.
Yeah, that is good.
Some of the things that they had, like the vendors, I know when I was there, I think we all got, not all of us, I think 2 of us got barbecue. I think one of the kids got pizza, somebody got a cheeseburger, just, you know, stuff like that. So they have a lot of different options.
They do have some Nashville hot chicken.
Yep, they have that too.
Either tenders or sandwich, which is a little bit different than most stadiums, but
Right.
also kind of expected.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got like a pulled pork mac and cheese
Yeah.
when I was there, which was actually pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I say actually because usually at games and things like this, it's real quick.
Yes.
So it's not usually top notch.
Right. Yeah. No, not usually, but this stuff, it was all good. We didn't have anything bad.
Yeah.
So there was also there were like smaller stations too, right? Like they had their funnel cakes, Dippin' Dots, ices, cotton candy, popcorn, things like that too.
Mm-hmm.
So again, plenty of things to choose from. It doesn't matter what you like, you're gonna find something there that you like. So,
Absolutely.
So what else did you guys do there? Anything? Did you head out into right field? Did you do all that stuff, like play any of the games or anything like that?
We didn't play any of the games. I mean, we were sitting there. We ordered drinks. We went back a couple times just for the mixed drinks, and we saw people playing the games, and
Sure.
they also have their if you're doing like a birthday or something out there, they have the tent out there where they do that.
Right.
But it was pretty slammed out back in that area. You can tell the parents take the kids out there,
It
or the
was.
parents themselves. They
Yes,
can drink and the kids
exactly.
can play games.
Yeah.
So it makes it pretty fun for both.
That was the one mistake that we made. So like how you had mentioned, when you get in, you sort of do the loop and you check everything out.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to do too. And it was a mistake because as soon as we got in, there was nobody there. Like none of the kids were in that whole area. Everybody was sort of doing the same thing, filtering in and walking around.
Yeah.
Definitely should have let the kids like do whatever they wanted, because by the time we left, which I think we ended up leaving around the 6th inning or something like that, and we walk out and there was no chance that they were going to be able to do anything.
Oh, it was just slammed probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Especially
packed.
with a full house.
Yep. So, but it was overall, I mean, I had a great time. I'm absolutely planning on bringing the kids back again. I highly recommend doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Just with all the things going on in the area, outside the park itself.
They do have some pretty cool options too. I mean, you got Brooklyn Bowl is right. It's almost connected to the stadium,
Mm-hmm.
which is a bowling alley / concert venue / like bar.
Okay.
Cool venue. They have another one called Third and Home.
Okay.
So Third and Home is a restaurant bar that has outside seating that overlooks left field.
Nice.
So you can technically go there, get there early enough, get an outside seat and watch the entire game and just sit there and drink and get a free ticket. And it's better than some of the seats in the stadium. And this stadium does not have a bad seat in it.
They really didn't. Yeah. No, I liked it a lot. And again, like walking around, like you're just kind of like scoping things out and seeing like, all right, I know I'm sitting here this game, but next time when I come back, where would we want to sit? What would be better? Like you said, like it doesn't really matter at all. Like you sit wherever you want.
I'll move it next time. We were on the third base side. I'll try
Mm-hmm.
to go to the first base side or behind home plate or maybe upper deck a little bit.
Right.
Just to check it out. Like I like getting a different viewpoint from each one.
I do think it would be cool to kind of get a bigger group together, maybe do like a club, like sort of club seating type thing, and get one of those boxes and stuff like that.
That would be fun. They actually
That'd
rent
be
out
good.
boxes if you want to work while you're watching the game. They have like work boxes there.
Why would you do that?
I don't know, but I was on the website like when we had first moved here checking out tickets, and I saw that.
Well, nice.
Yeah.
Hey, options, right?
Exactly.
That's all you
Work
need. You just
outing.
need some options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work from the ballpark. Who doesn't want to do
exactly. So yeah, anything else you can think of that you wanted to mention?
that? No, I mean just with this, we've been to so many stadiums.
Yeah,
and
I know a few.
Yeah, exactly. And this one in particular is definitely in the upper echelon of how nice it is, and it is a newer stadium too.
Right.
They got a gigantic guitar that's almost completely an LCD screen.
Yep.
And the whole thing lights up and has TVs, all the way down the fretboard and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, very cool.
It is. Yeah.
Looking at that, if you want to see the old one, it's over by Dicey's that we did before at the Live Nation building. That's the old guitar that they had in the old stadium.
Yep. I
I'm
saw
not
that.
exactly sure how old this stadium is, but I know that they just redid it within the last 10 years. I know that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and it definitely seems like it. I don't know the age of it either, but yeah, no, it's definitely a newer place, and if it's not, it feels really new, and they keep it up great. So
And it's a city
either way, it
stadium,
doesn't matter.
so it's completely surrounded by businesses, housing, just different things like that. So if you're going to a game and you want to grab a drink before, meet friends, do anything like that, there's so many places where you can get a drink or meet somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just it's a good area, good time.
Right, and because there's definitely the parks that you can go to as well, where it's like you drive in, you park, you go into the stadium, and then you've got to get out. I mean, there's even some big league parks.
I'm usually ready to leave before I park because the parking is such a pain in the ass.
Right,
that I'm usually already in a bad mood, ready to go.
Yes, that can definitely happen.
You don't get that here.
So. No, it's again, like, it's nice having things surrounding the park, so it's not like you just drive in, watch the game, and leave.
Right.
It's perfect. And being that it is so easy to park, it makes you want to go there, want to visit it, because there's so many different things that you could be doing. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like, one of the worst stadiums, it's a big league park, Tampa. You go to Tampa, it's like you drive in, you go to the stadium, you leave. Like, you don't want to do anything else around there. And that, like, I can't believe that, like, you would build a big league park like that. You know what I mean? So, but this is not that. This is definitely a family-friendly place, good area. The park itself is good. I really have nothing bad to say about it.
No, it was a great experience. And, I mean, for someone that's seen, I feel like, 10,000 baseball games in person.
That's a lot.
I would definitely go back and watch another game.
Yeah,
because it was just a really fun, good night, and I had a great time with my dad and my buddy Brady. So,
right.
When you think about it, kind of that camaraderie of the baseball and the history like we have, just a good night.
That's just sounds like a good group anyway. It's a baseball group,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
always easy to get along with. Former baseball players and things like that, people that have just worked in baseball. But yeah, I mean, that kind of brings us to a possible teaser of an upcoming episode to kind of end this off with is hopefully, we have a special guest coming up in the next week or two with a team that's supposed to be coming to town. It's baseball, so you just never know what's going to happen, whether or not it'll end up happening for sure. I don't know, but definitely a possibility. I'm not going to give names away or anything yet, but yeah, hopefully that works out, and we'll have a AAA guy, doing a review with us possibly, or maybe just talking about his favorite places in town. I'm not sure yet. So
you'll probably get to hear a little bit more about our past in baseball.
Right. Yeah, that always comes up. You throw a bunch of former, like, employees and players and things like that together, and they just start telling stories for hours and lose the time. So it could be a lengthy episode.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be fun if it ends up happening. So other than that, I think I'm good. Do you have anything else?
No, I mean, I'm definitely, if you're in the area, even if you're visiting, if you live here, you haven't been, it's a cheap ticket. Go check it out. It's Absolutely. A fun night. There's a ton of stuff to do around there that if you're visiting Nashville, you typically wouldn't do because it's like a few blocks off the beaten path a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of really good restaurants and bars and just things to do around there. So if you do visit, or if you live here and you haven't been, definitely go check it out.
Absolutely. Go and check it out. I agree. That's it from me. We will talk to you next week.
See you next week.
Download our episodes on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram at Nashville Scoop Podcast. I'm at The Nashville Realtor and Craig is at Real Estate Rockstar.